Welcome to a video feed on completing my sketchbook. So I was thinking about more of this a little bit more since my blog is um, what is it? The Sketchbook Diaries. I couldn't even think of my own name. The Sketchbook Diaries of an Evolving Art Therapist. And I thought, well, I'm going to be doing a little bit more educational pieces on not only what I do in the sketchbook, but if you want to do it too, you could follow along with me as you guys do with my live painting. Hi, Camilla. Welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy end of the year and happy upcoming new year. Thank you for joining. So I'm doing a short feed today and I'm actually completing my sketchbook. So the live feed was called how do you finish or how do you complete a sketchbook? And so here's my sketchbook basically from this year. And um this has become my whole blog for the most part, and it was just something. Hi, Lucine. Thank you for joining. Hopefully I can greet everybody when they join. I'm going to complete this sketchbook today. So it's actually a book. This is usually happens with these books, is that you start them and you maybe go to a workshop and you make a fancy embellishment on the cover, which this one has been bejeweled and stuff like that. Hi. And we have these great sketchbooks, and then they sit on the shelf or they sit in a closet, or they're like, yeah, I'm going to get to that sketchbook later. And this year I worked really hard to fill these pages up with thoughts, ideas, emotions, um, plans, whatever, experimentations in how to work in media. And I just really used the crap out of it. And so today I'm going to complete it and you're going to watch me intuitively create the last page, which has been like my intuitive painting is you guys get to be present with me. And here's the thing. I was like, maybe you guys can relate. The two of you that are with me on this 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. broadcast the day after Christmas. I was spending all this time in my head thinking about how I could make this video the most perfect video ever and what it was going to be about and how it was going to be scripted. And then this is exactly the thing that gets us stuck in making art. It gets us stuck in writing. It gets us stuck in relationships. It gets us stuck because we overthink things. We think we're all smart and we think we're all crafty because we're going to be mindful and we're going to plan it out. And I love being mindful, and being mindful is absolutely 100% important to me. But there is a fine line between being mindful, hey, Alexi, and being and overthinking. There is a fine line between being mindful and overthinking. And I know, because this is something I teach and talk to you all about, is that the more I plan and the more I organize and the more I lay out an itinerary about how everything is supposed to flow, everything becomes stuck and boring and static and rehearsed. And hi, Assemblywoman Deborah Mezzarelli. I bet you're Italian. I love that name. Mi piace. Il questo nome. I'm sitting here nodding my head. Yes. Right. So in overthinking this, welcome to how I'm finishing my sketchbook, I thought, Laurie, stop over planning it. You're basically out of your pajamas. Your hair is a mess. Who gives a flying rat's ass about any of that? Just show up and make the work, just like you talk about, just like you tell people. It doesn't have to be rehearsed. It doesn't have to be planned. Let's just roll, because that's how life, I think, is best experienced, in this childlike way where you have lots of ideas in your head, but you have no flipping idea how they're going to roll out in the sketchbook. So I do get excited about this stuff because it is one of the things, it's the many passions that I have. Art is absolutely one of them. Sharing art with you guys, with complete strangers. Sometimes, I just see your name and we haven't met face to face. It is this wonderful thrill of being able to share the process with other people. So as I take that deep breath and calm my ass down just a moment here, I am going to finish my sketchbook with you. So now we're going to turn, um, and this is not going to be a long feed. I'm reminding myself that more than anything. It is 8:11, 8:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I better have this wrapped up by 8:30. That seems like a long time. So welcome my sketchbook. I'm going to put it here on my desk and we're going to go through it. Insieme, which is the word in Italian for we're going to go through it together. So bear with me while I change the camera here. Oh, this is what I don't like about the live feed because you can't see your camera. But now I can see upside down. Okay, and I think you guys can too. So here we go. I'm going to do a brief review of Inspire Your Heart with Art. I swear to God, I made the cover of this sketchbook in probably a sketchbook workshop that I co-hosted with my friend Kathy Lyatt in was probably January of 2020. And then the sketchbook sat and it sat on a shelf and I didn't use it I used it occasionally. But I have reworked many pictures and pages in here. So just really quickly, this is kind of review of some of the images. For a while, I was doing these ladies and they were wearing necklaces of sayings and phrases. This one says, "To quiet the incessant chatter in your mind, try speaking to yourself in full sentences instead of negative self-talk in phrases. Try, you are a beautiful flower that needs to grow. Please water often and make sure to give yourself lots of love and sunshine." Well, that's nice. See, we need to remember stuff like this. So this is just some of the examples. I had a lot of rights and I had a lot of notes and stuff in here. It's more important to me that you see this page. Um, and just a variety of things. When life gives you lemons, make you limoncello. It's from finished, completed images to where I just painted over some notes that I had maybe taken a few years ago. But it's a variety of paintings of Frida Kahlo, hot messes, pieces, that I did in those classes that I host online called Be Free Pathways with Kathy Lyatt. Um, you know, ideas about AI generated work, which I can't stand. Um, so anyway, this is what the book is filled with. Lots of these thoughts, some thoughts being reworked, some just playing and experimenting, some like this is with oil pastels. This is some information that I obviously felt I couldn't cover up. Take a moment then and draw a line, not a header behind it. Oh, this is a great exercise about when you draw, Lou, I wonder if you know about this. When you're drawing, and maybe I'll do that for the final one, is that you're either drawing, when you're drawing or creating anything, you're either with the image, you're behind the image, so that means you're pre-thinking about it, you're with the image, or you're way ahead of it. So we're going to try to be present in the moment with my final image. This is some of my encapsulation stuff where I just put a big color in the background and fill in the little shapes. This is a very meditative practice. So there's lots of those encapsulations in here. This is about when I was going to Sardinia. Oh, I'll be here. What a great little record of the year. This is about Sacred Heart. I think I did this on 4th of July. This is where I tried to make something very deep, like a deep thought, inspirational, and it just turned out to be a big mess of muck. And I remember that today. And this is what started my 30 Days of Ugly project. So there's an ugly piece. There's an ugly piece, an encapsulation, another ugly piece. That's ugly number 4, ugly number 5, ugly number 6. So I did a whole bunch of uglies, which was great. There's no pressure in making ugly artwork. This is paint pull, a progressive paint pull. So I'd put paint down with a palette knife. Did a lot of experiments with palette knives. Ugly art. You matter. Each life matters. We all matter. We all matter. That was obviously very important to me that day. Ugly art. This This is so bad. And I would make time lapses of these things. This one was super ugly. And one of my readers and a friend, she's become a friend of mine online here through Substack, Elizabeth Reese, she's an author. She said this reminded her of an abusive boyfriend that she had. Maybe I was channeling him. This was about a perfect cup of coffee, more encapsulation, some flowers, doodling. This is about rediscovering some family history. I got all excited about doing family history pieces for a hot minute. These are my grandparents' parents, maybe a little bit of a blue period. Then more into flowers, having patience, doing more drawing, an ode to my cat, something again from Be Free Pathways. So again, this book has been completed. I did a hand drawing on Thanksgiving like we used to do in kindergarten. Did you guys ever make hand turkeys? This was for my husband's birthday. I used to do a lot of these faces where they were together and the eyes come together. It's almost like, a joining of souls, a joining of people. That was a birthday card. More encapsulation, the thought about everything and nothing at once, trying to be in a state of Buddhism. When I close my eyes, I just see love. This is again from a prompt from Be Free Pathways. What does fragmentation feel like? And this is what I came up with. And we're getting down to 10 days. I just did this one the other day. This was on Christmas. This one was yesterday. What your sketchbook can be about. So here we have it. Oh, and intuitive doodling. I also did that. Her finding calm during the Christmas. And she was one continuous line drawing until she wasn't. But it was about using your sketchbook to stay calm and stay curious. So here we have it. That final page of your sketchbook. And what the hell am I going to do in here? Well, let's approach it like every other day. Sit for a moment and see what happens. Who wants to show up first? Well, this grape one's screaming loud at me. So we'll take. Let's. The last page of my 2025 sketchbook. Art does not have to be perfect or shiny. It just has to be true, a reflection of you. Now, some of you might be like, where is she going with that? What is she doing? I have no freaking idea. I just know that it's going to be oil pastels for this minute. And let's just stay open and childlike and see what happens. Let's not overthink it. Let's not try to be the most stunning thing you've ever made. But maybe in this process of being super loose and open and honest, honestly, isn't that funny when people say to be honest? That really bothers me. Because it's like if you're saying to be honest, does that mean that you're generally not honest when you're talking? I know it's just an expression of speech, but I'm trying to think about that a lot more. I'd like to be honest all the time. And when I'm honest, a lot of times I am really scared. And any kind of part of me that is scared when I'm making live art, it's because you know where that comes from, right? Where would fear come from drawing in my sketchbook, talking out loud to a camera, to people I can't hear your voices? Fear would come from an insecurity that I think I'm going to do something quote unquote wrong, or maybe I was going to do something that might upset you, or that you're not going to like me at the end of this work. Maybe I don't impress you enough. Maybe I'm boring. Maybe you're like, that woman is full of a crock of shit. Well, that's great. Guess what? In a free country, I was thinking about this the other day. You get to think those things. In a free country, you get to log in to your computer and you get to see an opposing point of view because it's a free country. But guess what? When you live in countries that are oppressive and only certain views get broadcast, that's oppression. I was thinking about that the other day. And so I'm starting to celebrate when I go online and I see someone's views different than mine. I was like, Lori, that's something to be celebrated because that still means you're living in a free society on some level. But if you log into your phone or your computer or your tablet or you live in a community where everybody thinks exactly the same way you do, everybody dresses the same way you do, nobody challenges anything because everybody thinks the same, then aren't we just a bunch of stormtroopers? I mean, even if you say it's hate speech, I'm not a fan of hate speech. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of it. But the fact that if you live in a community where hate speech is permitted, that's a freedom. That's a freedom. If suddenly you wake up one day and you realize that you can't say what's on your mind anymore. There's my husband outside screaming about fishing because we're going to go fishing tomorrow. God bless him. I love that man. Anyway, was just something I was thinking about. Embracing differences of opinion, even if they make your skin crawl, even if it makes your skin crawl, it means you're living in a free society. And if you don't hear an opposing point of view, that's when we should start getting scared. Okay, enough of that ranting, political ranting. It's not even political. It's just state of humanity. Where are we at time-wise? Oh, I've way overstayed my welcome. Sometimes creativity doesn't follow a clock, does it? Now that I've started this in oil pastel, I have a feeling that I could be here for an hour, but we're not doing that today. Okay, I'm getting close now. The thing about oil pastel is you get all this stuff. So let me knock this off, brush it down. You guys are still with me. God bless you. I can't see because the camera is turned upside down. What else wants to go here? The last page, the last page. Pressure, pressure. It's got to be what? It's got to be nothing. It's just got to be what I want it to be. My cat is hearing all these noises. He's getting curious. He might join us here. Come on, Marcello. He's a Christmas cat. We got him last Christmas. He's been a fabulous cat. I didn't really know I was a cat person until I met this guy. He changed my life. Okay, what is she doing? She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just making marks. And isn't that what's great about a sketchbook? I used to think coming out of college, when I didn't go to art school per se, I went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and I studied art there. That's where I learned about art therapy. Is that when I was, again, I always thought sketchbooks were for, putting your ideas in for future paintings. So then that becomes this very, stop chewing those. And then the sketchbook became this very delicate thing because it was about future paintings and it had to be so important. But then when I was just like, well, just use it to have fun and use it to play. And yes, you might write ideas in there, but stop, stop chewing my pencils. So that's what my sketchbooks now become. They just become about, please. My sketchbook has just become about recording my thoughts from that day and maybe playing, maybe finding a new way to work. Like, this is kind of fun, scraping this stuff away. Okay. Finishing up today's final sketchbook entry. And it's a bloody hot mess. But you know what? It's my hot mess. And that's what I am going to embrace. Because I woke up this morning. And when you realize it's just a blessing to wake up, to take a breath of oxygen, and to realize you're still here and you get to show up and play these silly games and trying to figure out what this big existence is all about, then we're here together. And we both survived. We both survived Christmas 2025 with our relatives, traveling. And there are people out there who didn't. So God bless them and their families, for those that didn't. But if you're here watching this, you've made it to the next level. I think that's a nice place to stop. Art does not have to be perfect or shiny. It just has to be true. It just can be a reflection of you. And with that, kids, thanks for joining, Lustine. Hey, Dan. Julie. Hi, Julie. Hi, Nikki. God bless you guys for joining me. Last day, last page of my sketchbook. Nothing fancy, but a combination of all those thoughts in my head. Julie, I'm reading your book. Camilla, thanks. My mom borrowed a book from Julie called The Blue Zones. So if you haven't read that book, it's in the other room, I'd grab it. It's great. It's very fascinating. I'm loving reading it. And what I also picked up from the Blue Zone book is that approach to life and living is really what keeps us young. It's not being bogged down on the perfection of things, on how things look, on what other people think about them. That's all a bunch of crap. Your life is your life to live. And who cares what anyone else has to say about it? Who cares what anyone has to say about what's in your sketchbook? I do this to, in some way, not only entertain you guys, but give you guys permission that this is something you want to do or this is something you're interested in. Reach out and connect with me, and I'll help you get started. It's something that brings me an unbelievable amount of joy and on a daily basis. So, having said all of that, I'm ending this for now. The last page, this puppy's done. It's been a good ride. I got to go out and get a new sketchbook. And then maybe I'll make a video on how do you start a sketchbook? Because that sometimes is a big hurdle to overcome. It's only a big hurdle because you get stuck in those three things. Like, I don't have a plan. I want it to be perfect. I don't have the right materials. I don't know. Reasons, blah, blah, blah. Excuses. Excuses are like a-holes. Everyone's got one, right? Right. Okay. Thanks, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I have so much fun talking with you and sharing this process with you. Go out and get a sketchbook. You can join me. Maybe you can join me for how to start a sketchbook, because that might be my next video or finishing one of these paintings behind me. You guys have a blessed, beautiful Friday, December 26th. I hope to see you next time. Okay, have a great day. Ciao.